Hello everyone, so I just got back from seeing Avatar 2 or Avatar The Way of Water. I have been very much anticipating this film for the last 13 years. I did love the first one when I first saw it when I was younger, and I've just been anticipating the sequel for all this time. I praise James Cameron for being able to, again, just wait until he had the tech to pull off the movie that he wanted to pull off, and I'm just was very, very excited to return to Pandora. So this movie is about 3 hours and 12 minutes long, of course, directed by James Cameron. Stars Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Stephen Lang is back in this. Yeah, just a lot of the original cast is brought into this one, and I do want to say right off the bat that this is going to be a spoiler review. So if you don't want anything spoiled for this movie, go watch it, come back to this, put it in your watch later, and then watch it after you've seen it. I just feel like to really express what I thought about this film, I do need to get into a little bit of the spoilers. So yes, you have been warned, and without further ado, let me get into my review for Avatar: The Way of Water. So this film takes place about, I'm pretty certain, like 12-ish years after the events of the first film, and of course too there's a lot of scenes that tell you exactly what happened immediately after the events of the first film. Humans were left. There was a little baby who wasn't able to be put in cryosleep, who is, again, to just, he has to stay on Pandora, and he grows up again with the avatars, with the Na'vi, and just learning their culture and fully embracing it. His name is Spider, this little kid. And of course, you have Jake Sully as Neytiri. She and Zoe Saldana is back as Neytiri, and yeah, so they raise a family and start a family together. They have an adoptive daughter who they know is the kid of Sigourney Weaver's character. They just don't know who the father is, exactly how that, again, to came. They don't know who the father is, and then they have two sons and one daughter of their own. So of course you have the parents, two sons, $2, and they live basically as the chief of the clan that we spent the entirety of the first movie with, and they now reside in the mountains. And just, again, too, they have a very, very strong clan, just very jungle clan, just very deep roots of history, and again too just culture that they do explore quite a little bit, and I did really, really like it. But then we started to see a little bit that I did hypothesize this, and I was a little happy about it, because when they announced that Stephen Lang was going to be back in this film, I had no idea for a while how they were going to be able to pull that off. But as I got older and started thinking about things more, I was kind of thinking that's the best way for him to, again, continuous plan, infiltrates the Na'vi, all the things like that, would be to become one of them. So there was a secret cloning facility where they were going to save the memories of the soldiers and implant them into avatar bodies. So they would, again, have the memories of these characters not actually be them, but again, to just know the mission that they had, because these were the best soldiers that possibly could have. You have a colonial army. You want Stephen Lang's character, the colonel, to be the leader of it. So, he's just very, very capable, and of course, too, with these new avatar bodies, they become even more capable. So that is how they are going to plan to, again, to just even get close to Jake and take him out, take out the insurgents, and starts their mining operations back on Pandora. And there is a new resource that the humans are after that is explained a little later on in the film, which I will get to, because it kind of relates to one of the overall themes of this movie. But yes, that's kind of like the main two. We do spend a lot of time with Stephen Lang's character this time around, and just great performance by him, of course. Great performance by everyone in this. There was even like the kids that they got within this just did a fantastic job acting their asses off. It's very, very well done in terms of the acting, and yeah, it's just everyone absolutely nails it. And of course too, was just the upgraded motion capture, CGI, everything like that. It looks so perfect. Rewatching the first Avatar, I found that I had some problems with some of the slow-mo scenes that they did, where the CGI was never bad, but it did feel at times like it just felt a little wonky at points, where again, the slow-mo just slowed things down, and you could see some flaws in the tech at the time, but there's none of that within this holy fucking shit, does this movie look good in every single thing that it does. Yeah, it's just, it blew me away at just how real everything looked and flowed, and the lighting, just the ray tracing that they had within this movie and things like that was unbelievable. This is a tech demo spectacle that, if I was able to see this in IMAX, if you can, please do. You're gonna get the best experience out of this movie watching it within IMAX. It is just a treat for people who love directing, who love, again, to just the components that make up CGI and how you bring that to life. Just again to if you really like the technical side of movies, this is just a masterclass in how to do that. And of course, the directing from James Cameron is absolutely amazing too. Every single shot just hits hard, has the most perfect angle in his shots, just at the right distance, things like that. Has the most amazing lighting, most effective lighting, great soundtrack bolstering in the background that, of course, the late great James Horner was able to do most of, but pieced together very, very well. But yeah, now that that's kind of out of the way, like, there's nothing that I can knock the CGI on this. There's some fucking amazing sequences, whether they're in the air, on the land, or underneath the water. It's incredible how great everything looks, and all the filters and everything that they were able to put on. It's just, like I said, this is a masterclass in how you do a CGI, or, like, again, just a technical film such as this. It's just, it's incredible, and every single shot blew my mind, and just how amazing it looked. There wasn't a single flaw that I could find within it. Now, moving a little further on within the story of this, I do have some problems with a lot of. I don't really want to say the pacing is bad in a sense. It's just the first 2/3 of this film, minus the little intro. So the first 20 minutes is actually really great, kind of building the world and the story. But then the rest, until like maybe the last hour of this film, felt more like a National Geographic film than anything, which isn't bad, because one of the main messages of this film is, again, against commercial fishing. You get to spend so much time with this tribe and see how much they respect, like, almost the indigenous type of fishing, where the animal is more sacred than the beings, the humans hunting it. And they do really get into that. And again, too, you have a very long and just stressful, emotionally destroying scene that has to do with commercial fishing, that, yeah, no, like, it hurts, and it was just very greatly presented, and again, too, just showed the horrors of it and just how needless it is. So the new resource that the humans are after comes from these whale-like creatures, and just the way that they have to take them down is absolutely brutal and so inhumane. But they have just an organism within them that, when humans have them, well, so when humans basically take this organism within the whales, it just stops human life. Like, sorry, it stops human aging. And that's like a little canister of it sells for 80 million, and that's all they're interested in when hunting these creatures. They just leave the rest of it. And so they do, again, to just really get into that dialogue. And a lot of the ways that, again, too, that show the more indigenous way of life, and then just the brutality of the, again, just the commercial, the human side of it, is showcased through this new character, Spider. And you do get to see the best and the worst of both worlds within it. It's also revealed too that Spider is the son of the Colonel from the first film, so Stephen Lang's character. And there was a lot of dynamic that I thought we were going to get within his character that I didn't really feel like we did by the end of this film. I'll get into that, again, just a little bit later. And like I said, the first little bit of this film does really feel like you're more so watching a National Geographic documentary. It's very effective in doing what it was doing, but I feel like a lot of people are going to be like me, where it felt like a lot of the story, lore, and world building that should have been within this movie wasn't there. This movie is all about the characters, and it does a great job, again, too, just within the character study of every single character. The characters are amazing. You grow to love them, hate them, just exactly what's really the writing team wanted you to do, wanted you to feel for these characters. They achieve it by the end of this film in such some brilliant ways. But again, too, when it comes to AWA, things like that, don't go into the. I was expecting a lot more to do with AWOL in this film, so much to do with again to just the world building of Pandora, and you don't really get a ton of that. It does another really good job setting up the characters, and I feel like films 3, 4, and 5 from here on out, this was a great setup for it, but it just was a little surprising that they went in this direction for something that felt like it should have had a lot more world building within it. But it's again too just really effective in delivering the message that it was trying to. Because yeah, most of the film, Jake and his family are on the run from Stephen Lang's character. They leave their tribe and heads to this water tribe and seek essentially asylum, just in a place where they shouldn't, they really shouldn't find. Stephen Lang's character shouldn't find them. Again too, they just leave to protect, but of course too, the war does come to them eventually within the last hour of this film. And holy fuck, the last hour of this film is incredible. This is really when the movie takes off, and again is what's going to bring people back in to watch this film again and again and again and again and again. And the final hour is so well done, again too, just really takes what was already built upon these characters and just shoots it to the moon. An amazing job, just again showcasing the action, how great the tech of these movies can be, and how more they can grow the fights. All the fight sequences were incredible. They were brutal. There were some awful, brutal kills. Thankfully, a lot of them happened to the terrible people that happen within this film. And yeah, it was awesome. There's one sequence to do with one of the commercial fishermen and the whale like creature that they're hunting. I think a lot of people who've seen the movie will know what I'm talking about, but it was just awesome. Made my whole theater just very giddy, and yeah, it was a great sequence. But yeah, no, the whole last hour just really brought this movie together. Really got into the sense of, again, to just the characters, and that's what felt like. I feel like the last hour is what a lot of people, including myself, were expecting out of this movie for the majority of it. But again, too, even though a lot of it is a case study and doesn't exactly feel like the first movie did in the world building and everything like that, it is very great at delivering its message. The one major problem I have with this movie is, like I said, I was going to get into it, Spider's motivation at the end, making the choice that he does to save his, it's not really his dad, and they do go into that, but I just didn't believe his choice. Seeing the horrors that he, well, again, to having the upbringing that he did, seeing the horrors that his father was so fine committing as the movie was going on to hunt Jake for, again, to a purpose that just didn't matter at the end of the day, and how much he was willing to sacrifice. I don't believe in his choice to save Stephen Lang's character. And even though, again, too, I think Stephen Lang's villain is so good, it's just I don't feel like it was necessarily, yeah, if that his character was saved in a necessary way, or a way that was believable from Spider's character. I truly thought, again too, from seeing all of the trailers of this, we didn't know the character's name until we got into this movie, but I was basically saying to my girlfriend, my friends, that if they hurts the Dreadhead dude, I'm gonna be very, very upset. And by the end of this film, I don't really like his character in a lot of ways, because I just found that he wasn't written well. He was the one, like, I don't want to say he was generic, but it was just, I feel like they really missed the motivation, the upbringing that he had within the Na'vi people. And again, too, I can't believe that he would have made the choice that he did by the end of this film. But again, too, this movie was more so a tech demo than, I want to say, like an actual building on Pandora, the lore of Avatar, building upon the movies. But it sets up a great bridge and an amazing starting point character-wise to grow from the final films from here on out. So 3, 4, 5, all the movies that James Cameron wants to do. Again, it just had an absolutely great stepping point. And I can't wait to see what they do more. But really, I'm going, with everything taken together, I'm going to have to give Avatar: The Way of Water an 8 out of 10. It's just, again, too, I was blown away by the just tech and the spectacle of this world, of the visuals. That's definitely what's going to keep me coming back to this movie and watching it. And again, dude, just the fucking incredible last hour of this film is so good. And I did really like the message of this, but I can't help, easily I know that I would much rather watch the first movie from, again, to just a storytelling standpoints, from an enjoyment standpoint. I found it was just the better film out of the two of these. But yeah, there's just so much to like about Avatar: The Way of Water, and I still have to recommend it. If you didn't like the first movie, I don't think this one's going to do anything to win you over. Again, to the final hour is absolutely incredible, but I don't think it's going to do really anything to win over the people who didn't like the first film. It knew its audience and it stuck to it and made something, again, to pretty damn great in terms of, again, to just the source material that it's building off of. So if you've seen Avatar: The Way of Water, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And of course, if you'd like this review, definitely give it a thumbs up, and you can check out everything I do on this channel through my playlist down below, and I'll link them up top for convenience sake. Thank you for subscribing, turn that little ringer on so you know when I upload new videos. If you want to check out the description of this video in my channel bio, there's a link to the Media Mountain, which is my Discord, where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, pretty much everything that's awesome in this world. So you can definitely join that amazing community, help make it even more amazing than it is already. And yeah, just awesome, guys.
Sky blue eyes, I see a world behind them. No more time, sinking into the silence, reaching out for something